Okay, Eco Warriors, it's time to take pollution down to zero. Lorelei, Xavier and Cadel aren't letting any food go to waste with the help from OzHarvest. Kitana is turning garbage into a crafty masterpiece. One man's trash is another man's treasure, am I right? And Abbey is on a mission to protect the turtles!
This episode of Juice TV is proudly supported by founding partner, the Children's Hospital Foundation.
Hi, I'm Dave, but you can call me the Eco Warrior. Just kidding, you can call me Dave. But today, our episode is all about the environment, and we've got a lot of tips about what we can do to protect it. Our first story is all about food and what to do if you have too much. Lorelei, Xavier and Cadel find out some ideas.
Hey, I'm Lorelei and I got a whole load of veggies. And what do you do when you got a whole load of veggies? You share them. That's what our guests today are all about. OzHarvest takes the food you no longer need and they share it with the people who do. So me and my brothers Xavier and Cadel are going to find out how they do it. So Michaela, how does OzHarvest work?
OzHarvest stops good food from going to waste by delivering it to people in need. We pick up excess food from supermarkets like Woolworths and other places like cafes and airports and hotels. We pop it in our refrigerated trucks and deliver it to charities who help men, women and children who maybe need something to eat.
What about you?
What type of food do we take? We pick up lots of fresh fruits and veggies. We pick up some meat and some dairy like cheese and milk and eggs and a little bit of bread as well. And sometimes we get cooked meals too, but lots and lots of fruits and veggies.
Can you tell us why it's important to fight food waste?
It's important to fight food waste to help protect our planet and also to help those in our community who maybe don't have access to or can't afford to buy fresh and nutritious food for their families.
How can we help OzHarvest from home?
We all have the opportunity to make a really big impact. So we have our OzHarvest mantra of look, buy, store, cook. So look at what you have in your fridge and your pantry before you go shopping. Buy only what you need. Store your food correctly using your Tupperware containers and using your freezer as a pause button. And then my favourite, cooking what you have at home and then sharing it with friends and family.
Awesome. How can we find out more?
Well, we have our children's picture book as well that Cadel is holding, Lenny and the Ants. So Lenny is a cheeky kangaroo who can't find anything to eat, and then he meets the harvester ants who show him new ways to work with old food and have a lot of fun along the way. And we have this copy that we're donating to the Scholastic Book Bunker. So if you're at the Children's Hospital, you can read Lenny and the Ants while you're here.
Cool. Can we cook something now?
Yeah, let's get cooking. So So today we're making odds and ends fritters with all of the little leftovers tucked away at the bottom of the fridge. I've got my buddies Alicia and Taya from OzHarvest to give us a hand. So first up, we're going to grate all the veggies, we'll make the batter, then we'll head over to the fry pans and cook them up.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Good work, Xavier.
We're also going to need some grated zucchini. Cadel, can you grate some zucchini for me? Pour it all in, Cadel. That's it, yep, give it a scrape. Great work. Awesome job with the grating, guys. Next step, we need to whisk our eggs. Here we go. So who's cracked an egg before? Yeah? Will we all have a go? So crack it gently into the bowl. Muscles, muscles. Yes. There we go. Now it's coming. Ta-da! Yes. And no shell, you're right. Good job, Cadel. Last egg, Xavier. There you go. Give it a good tap. There we go, listening for that sound, thumbs in, ta-da! Well done, go team. And we'll give it a little whisk. That's it, whisk, 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 whisk. That's it, big stir, all in together.
It's looking good.
All right, let's turn that into batter. 1 cup of flour, so all the way in there. Excellent. And I'm also, oh, here we go. I'm after 1.5 cups, so this one will fill too. There we go. All in. And we need 1.5 cups of milk. Xavier, did you want to pour that milk? You did so great with the flour. So 1 cup of milk. Lovely. And another 1/2 cup as well. Beautiful. And then Cadel, could you pour the eggs in for me, please? Excellent. And we'll give it a bit of a stir. Mix it all in together. Good job, Cadel.
Starting to turn fluffy.
Alrighty, now we'll add our grated veggies, our cheese, some herbs, a little salt and pepper, and they're ready to cook. We'll grab a 1/2 cup of that carrot. Beautiful, in it goes, into the big bowl. Thank you. And then Cadel, can you grab a 1/2 cup of the zucchini that you grated before? A little more. There we go, in the big bowl. And we've got some yellow capsicum and some Spanish onion. We'll have a 1/2 cup of that as well. Yep. There we go, and some of that beautiful yellow capsicum, like our aprons, hey? Good work. 1/2 cup of the grated cheese. In it goes. That's it. That can all go in, all that beautiful green basil. Great work, guys. I think we're ready to head over to the fry pan.
Let's go. On a fry pan, we heat a little bit of olive oil, then add 2 tablespoons of batter. When they bubble on top, it's time to flip. We cook the fritters for another 2 to 3 minutes, and then they're ready to eat.
And my favourite way to have veggie fritters is with a little Greek yogurt and some smashed avocado.
I can smell them from here.
Here we go. How good do these look?
They look good. Do you want to try them?
Cadel, would you like one? There we go. And we've got some avocado and some Greek yogurt if you wanted to put a little top on. Beautiful. Yum.
It's really good.
What do you think, Lorelei?
It's delicious.
Oh, good stuff. Good job, team.
Thanks so much for helping us make fritters, Michaela.
Thank you for lunch.
We're going to enjoy the rest of these while you guys enjoy the rest of the show. Bye!
Those fritters look delicious. Speaking of veggies, do you know how long it takes for a lettuce to decompose in landfill? What? 25 years? That's such a long time. I've got a lot more fun facts for you. Let's do quick questions.
Meet David, your Earth Crusader episode host.
We are Geelong, the greatest team of all.
He's the #1 fan of the Geelong Cats, and his favourite food is chocolate.
My favourite hobby is bike riding, and I like to go riding at my local park. My favourite animal is a snake. I really want a baby python, but my mum won't let me. My favourite movie is Avengers Endgame. I really like it because it has a really good ending. I'd like to time travel to the Jurassic period, as long as I had the right equipment. So earlier, we got some ideas about what to do with our leftover food. But what about the other things we put in the bin, like plastic and paper? Well, Kitana's got us sorted.
Hi guys, I'm Kitana. I've got a question for you. What do we do with our rubbish? Duh, put it in the bin, of course.
No, Kitana, this doesn't need to go in the bin. You can recycle it or reuse it.
Oh, reuse it how?
With your craft skills, of course.
You're right, and I know the perfect person to help us. Meet Anne from Reverse Garbage. She's an absolute pro with the glue gun. Give her a plastic bag and she'll turn it into a puffer fish. Give her a paper cup and she'll give you a jellyfish. And give her a hand and she'll... Oh, I'm gonna need that. She's here today to help us turn our waste and recycling into something new. Alright, Anne, what are we making today?
Okay, so Kitana, we're making today some under-the-sea creatures. We've got our big coral reef here with lots and lots of inspiration. We've got jellyfish, fish, swordfish. Do you know what these ones are? Anemones. I think that's how you say it. Anemone. So yeah, lots of colourful plastic, lots of colourful bits and bobs that you might find usually going into the bin. But they're nice and clean and they're ready to make something really cool.
That's very cool. So what does reverse garbage do?
Well, we collect materials from businesses across Brisbane and the Gold Coast, and they're all industrial discards. So they've come from factories, they've come from people that are making things, and they have leftover pieces. So they might have leftover pieces of sheepskin. We bring them along, or we make them available for people to use in their DIY, or maybe they want to do some creative reuse, like we're going to do today.
This thing looks interesting. Is that bubblegum?
Oh, no, I wish. No, it's expanding foam. So this is something that is used in buildings if they want to fill in a cavity, and they spray it in like water and then expands out. It's pretty cool. We've added a little bit of green to make it look a bit like a coral reef.
This little fella's my favourite. How did you make him?
Well, Kitana, this is a really clever little guy because he's made from a plastic container, maybe that had strawberries, something like that could be held, some cardboard. Then we've used some stickers to make the pattern on the turtle's shell, and some little dots and spots for his eyes. So he's really light and he can float around in our imaginary sea.
Nice.
As you can see, Kitana, there's a lot of stuff here. Do you want to have a guess at how much we collect every week?
Probably 500 or 600.
Kilos?
Yeah.
We collect 2,000 kilos a week, and we could collect lots more.
We're making sea creatures today. What else can we make with recyclables?
Well, with recycled materials and reuse materials are really great because they're often really good quality and they're really interesting, stuff that you can't find in the shops. So with some of the things you can make jewellery, you could make bags, you could make all sorts of things. We have lots and lots of toys that are made. Anything you can think of, you can just have a go and make it for yourself.
All right, all our friends are here. Let's get making. I'm thinking of making a stingray out of my materials.
I made the octopus. I'm making a mermaid. I made some beautiful colours.
We made so many cool things today, like a stingray, and his name's Russell. Next time you go to throw something in the bin,
Think about what crafty creations you can make with it instead.
exactly, we're gonna keep making stuff today. Catch you later, guys.
We want you to be a part of Juice TV. We're always on the lookout for hosts, interviewers, behind-the-scenes helpers, and mini producers. You can be any age, you don't have to have any experience. How much easier could it be? To find out the next time we're filming at the hospital, just head to our website, juicedtv.com.au, or our Facebook page. For loads of fun to break up your stay in hospital, join the Juice crew. Send us an email at hello@juicetv.com.au or speak to any of the volunteers wearing green shirts throughout the hospital and let them know you want to be involved in the one and only Juice TV.
Every day, kids just like you and me are cared for in hospital by some amazing superheroes. And now GTV are inviting our patients and families to recognise your favourite hospital superhero at the Queensland Children's Hospital. Visit gtv.com.au, fill out a superhero nomination form with an adult's help, telling us in 150 words or less why they're your superhero. Round 5 is open now. So what are you waiting for? Get your superhero nomination in now. Juice TV Superhero Awards, proudly supported by Q Super.
Q Super is different in a positive way. As Queensland's largest superannuation fund and one of the largest in Australia, they take real action to support the well-being of patients and workers in Queensland's healthcare sector. Q Super are passionate about recognising the superheroes in our community and support the work they do in providing emergency and primary healthcare services for our members and all Queenslanders.
Didn't those sea creatures look awesome before? If I were there, I would have made a seahorse because I think they're pretty cool. Now it's time for our last story, and my mum is gonna love this one. When my mum goes for a walk with my little brother, whenever she sees a plastic bag, she says,
Save the turtles!
Mom. But she's right, our last story is all about turtles and plastic in the ocean. Let's see what Abbey has to say.
Hello, my name is Abbey and I'm at the Queensland Museum. I'm on an important mission to save the turtles. I'm here to discover what we can do to help save our marine mates. Now, this is a big mission, so we've called in a big name in the biz. Meet Patrick Cooper, aka the turtle expert. He has an amazing display here for the World Science Festival, which will help us in our mission. Patrick, where do turtles come from?
Well, these turtles come from Monrepo. Have you heard of Monrepo? It's a beach up near Bundaberg.
Ooh!
And Monrepo's where scientists have been monitoring turtles for 50 years.
Wow! In Finding Nemo, there are two turtles called Crush and Squirt. Do the turtles really ride the EAC? Is it really true they do?
Yep. Do you know what the EAC stands for?
East Australian Current!
That's right, and they do it. So these little loggerheads, when they hatch at Monrepo, they run down the beach, they swim about 80 kilometres offshore, and they get picked up by the Eastern Australian Current.
Wow.
That takes them down the Eastern Australian coast, past the tip of New Zealand and over to the coast of South America.
Oh my goodness! Do they go to California?
No, they don't go to California. But once they're over in the coast of South America off Chile and Peru, they stay there before they get back to Australia. It's about 16 years. And when
16 years?
Yeah.
That's 2 years of my age.
and when they get back here, it's another 14 years before they're big enough to start going and breeding at the nesting beaches.
Oh my goodness. That is amazing. What did the turtles eat?
Well, when they're little like this, they ride on the surface of the ocean currents and they're eating anything they encounter. So they're eating little invertebrates, little things like larval fish, small squid, any insects that fall out of the atmosphere.
Yeah.
But while they're doing that, that makes them very vulnerable to eating plastics in the ocean too, because they pick up little floating objects.
Yes.
And when they grow to adults, they're eating things like big crustaceans, so crayfish, crabs, and they eat mollusks, so shellfish.
How do you become a turtle expert?
Well, I'm not really a turtle expert. I sort of am. I work here as senior curator of reptiles at the museum, and my knowledge of turtles comes from working closely with Colin Olympus, who runs the turtle project within the Department of Environment and Science. So I've done studies on nesting beaches. I've helped them catch turtles in Moreton Bay. I spent 3 weeks up on Crab Island off Cape York with my wife at one stage monitoring flatbacks.
Where's Crab Island?
Right up near the tip of Cape York in far north Queensland.
What's happening in these boxes?
Well, these are our transparent incubators, and we put the eggs in there so the public, when they come through, can see the turtles hatching. So normally this happens at the bottom of a nest chamber, 60 centimetres below the sand, and nobody can see what's going on. So we do this where people can actually watch the whole process.
What is an incubator?
An incubator is a container with a controlled temperature, so we try and keep these temperatures around 29 degrees because that's a suitable temperature to hatch the eggs out.
How long does it take for them to hatch?
It depends a bit on the temperature, so cooler temperatures take longer, but the first of these eggs started hatching after 50 days incubation.
Oh, I love it when I see baby animals like these.
Yeah, well, little turtles are really cute. Everybody loves these little turtles.
Yeah. Are any of these guys ready for a swim?
They may be. Why, would you like to put a turtle in a tank for its first swim?
I think that sounds wonderful.
When you hold it like that and just put your finger gently on top. Can you do that? So hand out flat and just put your finger gently on top, not too hard, gently, and just bring it up. And if you just put it over there and drop it in. Yeah, there you go.
Yes!
How's that? He's enjoying that, isn't he?
How long do turtles live for?
Nobody really knows because no single scientist has managed to follow a turtle right through its whole life, but we know the turtles that are nesting at the beaches up at Monrepo start nesting when they're about 30 years old, and some of those turtles they've been following for 40 years. So we know that at 70 years of age, those turtles are still laying eggs, those eggs are still hatching, and the feeling is that turtles probably go to about 80 years of age. They probably don't make it to 100.
Oh, wow. How big do they grow?
Well, in that 30-year period, they go from these tiny little hatchlings to adults that have a carapace, which is the shell length of about 1 metre long.
Oh my goodness, that's as long as a turtle in a wildlife park.
And we can show you an adult turtle. So there's one out on display out there, so we can show you how big they grow.
Okay. Whoa, this is the biggest turtle I've ever seen.
Well, that's a loggerhead turtle, Abbey. That's the same sort as you're looking at with the little babies before. And that one would be about 30 years old, but they do get a bit bigger than that. And at that size, it's ready to start laying eggs.
How many species of turtle are there?
There are 7 species of marine turtles in the world, and we have 6 of those here in Australia.
I want to know what type of turtles are Crush and Squirt.
Crush and Squirt from Finding Nemo. They were green turtles.
Green turtles?
Yes.
Wow.
Did you see what I did? You so totally rock, Squirt! So give me some fin. Noggin. Dude.
These turtles have a big journey ahead of us. What can we do to help them?
Well, there's so many things we can do to help turtles, especially when they're little. You know, things like driving on nesting beaches with 4-wheel drives isn't a good idea. Turtles get either run over or stuck in wheel tracks. If you live near the beach, you can be sensitive about the lighting. The little turtles find their way to the sea because the horizon over the sea is lighter than that on the land. So if we've got street lights and house lights in behind the dune, some of those turtles wander inland. But one of the major problems the turtles have now, particularly the little turtles, is with plastics in the ocean. Plastics are really bad and plastics are everywhere. So to show this, I went out and started collecting plastics. So this case shows plastics that are washing up on beaches. Some of these are from Queensland, there's some from New South Wales, I've got samples from Florida. That little piece there, somebody collected for me from South America. And the plastic gets really bad when it starts to break down. So these hard plastics, when they break down in the sunlight and in the ocean, they're the sort of things those little turtles eat. And we're finding lots of little turtles have plastic in their guts now.
Oh, that's sad.
So what we've got here are samples of plastics that have actually been taken out of the guts of turtles and seabirds. These things are killing our little turtles out in the ocean. So this little bit of cable tie here was taken out of a small turtle and it blocked its gut and killed the turtle. And plastics like that are also really, really bad for seabirds.
Oh no!
So this bird here is called a flesh-footed shearwater and it comes from Lord Howe Island. And this plastic here was taken from the flesh-footed shearwater colony on Lord Howe Island. It's been all picked up at sea and brought back by the adult birds to feed to their chicks.
Oh dear. Patrick, what do you have here?
Well, these are the winners in an art competition we had. We had a competition called Hatchery Crusaders, and kids at various schools made turtle artworks. So that's something else you can do, Abbey. You can reuse plastics and be creative with them. So instead of throwing them out, you can make wonderful artworks like this. And you know, you might like to make one at home that your parents can hang on the wall and decorate the house. What do you think?
Good!
And it's good if you do it with plastics you pick up out of the environment. So if you go to a beach and get a hold of a litter off a beach and make some nice artwork out of it. So Abbey, you can see why plastics are really bad. We've all got to change the way we use plastics. We've got to think about recycling. We've got to think about saying no to plastic if you don't need it. If you're buying things in shops and they've got heaps and heaps of wrapping, try and avoid it. Plastic is really bad in the environment. We're talking now that there are 8 to 12 million tonnes of plastic going into the ocean every year.
Oh no!
There are over 100 million tonnes of plastic in the oceans now. We're making 300 million tonnes of plastic a year, and every 11 years that figure's doubling. So we've got to start saying no to plastics, have other things to use, and there are alternatives, and I'm going to give you an alternative. Have you heard of a bamboo toothbrush? Have you got a bamboo toothbrush?
No.
No, well this is just like a normal toothbrush, but it's made out of bamboo, so you avoid having a plastic toothbrush, and I'm going to give that to you, and you can try using that. Now it's a bit funny when you first use it because it's sort of like putting a bit of wood in your mouth, but you get used to it very quickly, and it does a very good job of cleaning teeth. So you can start buying things in the shops that aren't made of plastic but do the same job.
Thank you so much, Patrick.
That's all right.
I've never used a bamboo toothbrush.
Well, I hope you enjoy it.
So there you have it, everybody. This is how you save the turtles. Use plastic-free products. Always recycle. And if you see plastic on the beach, turn it into artwork. My name is Abbey. Thank you for helping me save the turtles.
Thanks for the tips, Abbey. Well, that's it for today. But remember, we can all do our part to save the environment. Me and my family like to recycle milk bottles at home. I'm Dave, signing off. See you next time.
Remember guys, it's so easy to be a part of Juice TV. Whether you want to be a host, help us out behind the scenes with filming, or decide what goes into each episode. Let us know you want to be involved by sending an email to hello@juicetv.com.au or speak to one of the friendly volunteers throughout the hospital in the green shirts. Also head to our website and Facebook page for all the updates about what we're filming at the hospital.